Hello, everybody, and welcome to Sideline to Speedway here. I am Mekhi Winfrey, once again, as always, joined by Parker Merrey. Parker, I have to ask you. There's just something that's been weighing on my mind a little bit. We're halfway through the season on the NFL, but dude, there's just one thing bothering me.
Oh, something's
Something's
bothering you.
bothering me.
Really?
Yeah,
We're like 30 seconds into the show.
yeah, something's bothering me. It's bothering me. Yeah, I just need to
Okay.
confess to everybody here. I
Confessions.
don't like John Harbaugh. I don't like John Harbaugh. I
Yo!
don't like John Harbaugh. You want to know why I don't like John Harbaugh?
Why?
Because this was the one week where like, oh, Lamar might not come back, and then he came back. So, thanks, John Harbaugh. I don't actually dislike John Harbaugh, but
Uh,
I had to give a quick
wow.
preview to what we're going to talk about. But of course, we're talking about what happened Week 9 in the NFL this week. Talk about what's coming up this week, as well as college. Same things we always talk about, same topics as usual. But you know what? Let's go right into that Thursday night game with the Ravens and John Harbaugh versus Dolphins. 28-6, a mud stomping game for the Ravens. What did you make of that?
So what I made of it is that the Miami Dolphins do not have a bad roster. I'll put it that way. They were able to move the ball pretty effectively on the Ravens, but it was the turnovers that killed them. Multiple fumbles, just sloppy play, some fourth down fails as well. The Dolphins, to me, look like a poorly coached football team. How do they keep turning over the ball that much? They get into the red zone and get no points out of it. This could have been a close game. And actually, you look at the yardage, it was a close game on paper. But the Dolphins' inability to actually put it in the end zone and avoid the turnovers was just so bad. And so, to me, it certainly looks like Mike McDaniel's the issue. And then on the other side with the Ravens, they finally put together an all-around good football game. They held the Dolphins to 6. They put up a decent amount of points with 28. So, Lamar started off a little slow, but once he got in the groove, the Ravens were pretty unstoppable. So a really big win for them, and it's really looking like they could make the playoffs and maybe win the AFC North.
It's shocking to say that with the start of the season they had, but Baltimore, of course, is going to find a way to do that. If there's any quarterback who can overcounter that, Lamar is one of those few. So we'll see if that happens in due time. But Ravens get the job done against Miami, sending the Dolphins effectively out of playoff. I mean, they're already, but like almost mathematically now out of
Yeah,
playoff contention. They're already
fired
falling.
their GM as well.
Yeah, so big stuff going on over there in Miami. We'll move over to the Sunday slate of games. I want to start with my New York Giants taking the L this week to the 49ers. This was a much higher scoring game than I anticipated. I don't think I was ready for a 34-24 game. I was ready for the 49ers to win. Um, I don't know. This game wasn't. It just was like a random. It was just a really random game on a week full of really important matchups. I feel like this game kind of didn't have that much meaning. It was important for the 49ers to win, but they did so. Giants. Jackson Dart looks good without Scadaboo. It's unfortunate, but the Giants still offense still looks like it runs through Dart. The 49ers are just better. Surprised that their defense held them to 24. But yeah, good job for the 49ers.
Yeah, so impressed again by Christian McCaffrey and Kyle Shanahan. What percentage of their games do they win when they're together?
75.
75. And look, they're winning again. They're a little bit below 75, but with a couple more wins, they'll be right back at that target number. But Christian McCaffrey is the offense. He led the team in receiving, led the team in rushing again this week, and he is just getting it done, and he's the only one really getting it done on that team. So if they lose him, I can't imagine the downhill slide that they're going to have. But as long as they have him, I think they're in business. McCaffrey is a very underrated player this year. Not a lot of people are talking about him, but he is just putting up some fantastic numbers. And then with the Giants, I just think losing Scadaboo was kind of the end of their playoff hopes this season. But still, you have to feel good about the future with New York. You got some, a good young culture building with Jackson Dart and Cam Scadaboo and Thibodeau. The rookie edge rusher that they drafted this year as well. Cannot remember his name at the moment.
Abdul Carter.
Yeah, Abdul Carter. So they're building
And
a
then Brian
huge.
Burns, Dexter Lawrence, of course. I mean, I could go on
Yeah,
for ages.
Brian Burns and Dexter Lawrence are not young, but they're great veteran guys to have. So there's just a lot of pieces on this Giants team. They're building a good culture there.
So Giants fall to another loss. I want to mention real quickly about that actually. Um, you talked about Christian McCaffrey being a little bit underrated this season. He's still the best running back in football. Nobody's ready for that conversation. He's still the best running back in football. But we'll continue to get along to that. I'm sure that topic will come up more as we get later in the season. But we look towards the rest of the afternoon games. I mean, the Chargers played the Titans. They won 27-20. Joe Alt hurt again. That's not good if you're a Chargers fan.
Yeah, absolute disaster. The Chargers still have no run game. Justin Herbert was their leading rusher, believe it or not, and they lose another tackle in Joe Alt. So Rashawn Slater's out, Joe Alt is out. Now what do you do? I mean, it's really not looking good. Luckily, now we're going to talk about this later on in the show. They did address the need of tackle by trading for Trevor Penning. So and Penning's obviously I don't think as good as Joe Alt or Rashawn Slater, but it's a nice guy to fill in. It's better than putting in a backup. So they did address the need there, but in terms of the game itself, again they just look sloppy. They're not moving the ball very well on offense. Against a team like the Titans, you'd want to kind of put them away, shut them down, and put up a lot more. So a much closer game than I think they wanted. Just the Chargers still looking a little sketchy, but we'll see what this trade acquisition does for their offense.
Be interesting to see, as you said. I mean, we got to see. We saw how the Chargers looked without Joe Alt kind of after week 4 or so, and it was a very rocky, very rocky. So, hopefully Penning can step in and be, I don't want to say of use, it's not the right word. He'll obviously be of use, but he can fill the void to the best of his ability there in LA. The Vikings took on the Lions 27-24. They actually squeaked out the win. They had a dominant lead early, but Detroit was almost able to come back, but not to be. So Minnesota aids their case when trying to make the playoffs. Detroit takes another loss that really, when they're trying to catch Green Bay, especially this week, they can't afford. So I mean, what do you think of Vikings overall? I mean, they obviously took a win over the Lions.
Yeah, I mean, despite what the score shows, it was a B team. They had the belt swinging, but it didn't quite make full contact. You know what I mean with the rear region, but it was still a good performance. They almost lost it at the end, but they got a clutch third down completion from JJ McCarthy, which, by the way, McCarthy did not look great in that game. Let's be real. This was all about the Vikings defense. They were able to get in Goff's face, cause a lot of pressure, cause some errors, cause their offense to be shut down. The Lions, for the first time in almost 2 years, had back-to-back 2-and-outs in that football game, something that their offense is not used to doing. So that's a pretty crazy fact. It was not a good day for Detroit. The offensive line is getting weaker. The secondary is getting weaker. And the Vikings are just getting stronger. They're getting more guys back. Now with Carson Wentz out, they've given the keys to the car back to J.J. McCarthy. And it was a rough ride this week, but I think there's good things coming out of him as he kind of gets in the groove, or at least I hope.
I mean, look, it's hard to win a football game when you're allowing a running back to average 8.5 yards per carry. So Aaron Jones was the machine on that
Oh,
offense,
yeah,
um,
absolutely.
all day long. He was great. McCarthy, I mean, he wasn't bad. He threw for 2 touchdowns. He had just under 150 yards though, which is really the number you need to. Look, I'm not a huge yards guy with quarterbacks. I think there are much better metrics, but per game, yards are a good look at. And well, he only threw for 143 of them. So that tells you how that game went from his perspective. But overall, Vikings get the job done, which is what they needed to do, moving back to 500. Um, do you want to know what team wishes they were at 500 though?
What
I
would
mean, a
that be?
lot of them. A lot of them wish they're at 500 right now. But there's one in particular that actually comes to mind here. I just lost my notepad. Wow, this is great. So on the fly, guys, I had the games pulled up in this instance, prepared for this, and then I lost my notepad. Here it is. You know, team wishes they were 500
Oh,
right now.
many teams.
Many teams.
Anybody below 500.
The Cincinnati Bengals. They
Yeah.
could easily be 500 right now.
Ay, ay, ay.
Um, they lost this week 47-42. Oh my goodness. Um, this game was a story of three. The Bears, we thought this game was going on BTA. I'm so certain when I looked at the score earlier, I was like positive this was going to be a BTA game. They had 42 points. The Bengals were at like 24. Then the Bengals start mounting this comeback and mounting this comeback. And we're like, oh my God, it's 42-42. Bears score. And we're like, all right, Bengals, you got a chance. And then, mm, mm, just like last week, they choke away the game. So Cincinnati falls to another loss to Chicago, who I think is now 6-3. So
Yeah, 6-3. Bengals defense continues to be absolutely atrocious. The Bengals were down 2 scores, get a touchdown, get the onside kick, get another touchdown to take what you would think would be the game-winning touchdown. And in the words of Chase Brown, their running back, who I think put it best, um, close out the game. Just close out the game. And the Bengals defense could not do it. Caleb Williams throws a ball over to the middle to their tight end Loveland, and then he proceeds to break tackles and run. They got the completion in field goal range, but he proceeds to run 40 more yards and score a game-ending touchdown. The Bengals defense is historically bad. I mean, I can't even fathom how bad it is. How they give that up with the situation they were in with about 19 seconds left, I think, when the completion was made. How are they first off giving the completion and then allowing this tight end to run 40 more yards to the end zone? I mean, it's just insane. And as you can see, it's starting to tear apart the culture. Bengals offensive players are speaking out against this defense, saying, "What are you? How are you this bad? What are you doing? You're costing us our season." And I can't imagine how frustrating it is for Bengals fans. I mean, you lose Joe Burrow, and now you lose what was a couple years ago an elite defense. I mean, remember in 2023 how good this Bengals team was overall. They had a great offense and a great defense to go with it. Now they only have 50% of it. And then the Bears, Caleb Williams actually looked great. You got to give him credit. Losing the lead after being up 2 scores has got to be dejecting, but for him it didn't matter. He went right down the field, got him a game-winning touchdown. So big performance from them, and the Bears are really close to taking the division lead in the NFC North.
yeah, I mean they're dangerously close. They're what, a game out now? Half a game out?
Yeah, half a
I
game
think half a game
from
technically.
Green
So
Bay. Yeah,
um,
because Green Bay has that tie.
Chicago knocking on the doorstep. Wait, what's the quote you like to use? The doorstep
No,
of
no, we can't use doorstep of destiny for anyone else. Evan Wilds would not be okay with that. That is
uh
pure. That's the Patriots right there.
whatever. He's not he's on something. He has brought the Bears to the most success they've had, honestly, in a consistent way since the 80s to early 2000s, maybe if you want to pick apart those couple
I would
years.
say
But
since like the double doink year, they were pretty
well, I mean,
phenomenal.
like consistently, as in years of like they looked
Uh,
good, even if they didn't have the record last year. They looked good last year. They didn't have the record. My point being, they look good right now. Hopefully, they can capitalize on it. You know what team did not capitalize on momentum this week?
what team would that be?
The Indianapolis Colts. They were one loss on the year to the Rams, which, fair be it, you could use the that Adonai Mitchell um, dropped the pass when they could have won that game, but whatever, right? Let's just give them the argument, benefit of the doubt, say they'd be undefeated. They got whooped in the first half of that game against Pittsburgh. Say what you want about the turnovers, say what you want about all of the mistakes they made. You're right, they made a lot of mistakes, but Pittsburgh had them beat in the first half. Now in the second half, they easily could have came back and won this game. Pittsburgh was giving them every opportunity in the second half of this game, like they did last week to Green Bay, giving them every opportunity to come back and perform in this game. The difference is they kept turning the ball over, and they just could not get out of their own way, which is the reason that they are now a two-loss team instead of a one-loss team. Luckily for them, they still sit atop the AFC because every team behind them was also 2 losses or more. So good on them for that, but still a loss that they could not afford against the Steelers because this is a team that looks fairly legit, especially when you're having fraud conversations.
So, if an NFL team plays 9 games, and in that 9 game stretch they have one bad week, what do you consider them?
depends who they play.
I think you should consider them a pretty good football
I
team.
mean, are you giving me
The
no
Indianapolis
okay? Well, are
Colts.
you giving me no context here? Like, am I just getting nine? It's a team that won 9 games or 8 games in a 9 game stretch. Let's just say, and there's no context. You're asking me if that's a good team?
Yes.
Theoretically, yeah.
Yes.
So
A team that finally plays a bad game, which, by the way, here's my favorite fact of probably the whole weekend: 6 turnovers, and they only lost by a touchdown. Obviously, the Steelers were ahead more the entire game, but I think that says a lot that if the Colts don't have a historically bad turnover rate on Sunday, they win the football game. So personally, my opinion on the Colts is the exact same as it was coming into this weekend. They're a really good football team. Don't think they can win the Super Bowl, but I think they can make some noise in the playoffs, and I'm still right there with them. I still haven't seen it out of Daniel Jones for me to think that they're a Super Bowl contender. I still need to see more out of him. And Sunday's performance was not a good look towards that. But for me, I don't think it's at the end of the world for the Colts. Not even close. And then for the Steelers, they desperately needed that win. When Lamar Jackson is back and the Ravens defense is getting better and better, it's starting to look like that division, is the Ravens to lose. And so the Steelers really needed a win, and they picked it up. So good for them.
Steelers get the job done. They did exactly what they needed to do. Another team that almost didn't hang on and win, but they did, was the New England Patriots, who moved to I think 7-2 now in their own right.
Yes,
So
7-2.
Patriots take the win over the Falcons 24-23. I had the Falcons coming in and winning this week. I was almost right, actually.
We both
I
had
think,
them
yeah, did
winning.
we both? Yeah, we both did. So we were almost right with that. Patriots hang on, though. Um, Honestly, I think this is the most impressive game. Like, each team that they play, the more and more impressed I am with Drake May. Because the start of the season, I'll chalk it up to he played a bunch of bad defense, a bunch of bad teams, right? Okay, that's not terribly impressive. Good on the stat sheet, but not impressive to me. The last 2 weeks, he tore up a Browns defense, and now a really good Atlanta defense, which has a decent offense, he just beat them. So now I'm like, okay, this guy is legit, which I thought he was already, but this is proving it more and more each time. So good to see the Patriots take the W. They still remain the second seed. They're in a tight race with that division, though. I'm telling you, Buffalo's not going to go away. So that game will be important when we get to that later this season. But what did you think of New England versus Atlanta?
Yeah, a lot of people are giving the Patriots a lot of flack for playing that close to Atlanta, and I don't think it's a great look, but I also think Atlanta is deceptively good. I think they're much, even though I clowned on you for having them in your
Yeah,
top 10,
whatever.
I do think talent-wise, they're one of the best teams in the NFC. I truly do. I think it's just a case of coaching. When is that team going to be able to get the right coaching to put all the talent together? Look at all the talent they have. They have a young up and coming quarterback in Penix. They have one of the best running backs in the NFL with Bijan Robinson. They have one of the best receivers for Drake London. They have the defensive pieces that are required to be good in the NFL. And then, of course, the Kyle Pitts experiment, which, the more
He's been
years that
good.
go by,
He's been decent this year. I'll be honest. Let's give
yeah,
him a
the
little bit
more
of.
years that go by, the more the more that looks like a failed experiment. I think he still has a lot more steps to go, but I think a lot of it comes from coaching. And then on the Patriots end, good win for them. It wasn't the best game from Drake May, but it was a win nonetheless. And the Patriots just keep on clicking the wins. And when you look at their schedule, they have a really good chance of getting the 1 seed. I don't think they're going to do it, but it's looking good for them. They're certainly going to make the playoffs, and they could very well be a top seed.
Yeah, the Patriots took a decent step up this year. I obviously was not predict. I expected them to be better than last year, but I didn't think they'd be a playoff team this year. I stand corrected. If I had to predict today,
Someone
they
did think they're going to be a playoff
yes,
team.
you did. You did think that.
I wonder who that
You
was.
did, yes, you
Yeah,
did
that's right.
think that. Hindsight's 2020. Whatever.
Oh,
Whatever. But yeah, the Patriots playing really well, playing good football. They take the win over the Falcons. Um, Man, you thought this would be a defensive slugfest this next game up. It kind of was. It kind of was. It was a mix.
yeah.
Uh, the Broncos took on the Texans, and they hang on to win 18-15. I actually think they were trailing in this game at one point before they came back. I might be wrong on that. I didn't catch much of this game, but Broncos take another win. They're actually, I think, also a two-loss team right now. I think they now are tied for the. Do they lead the division or tied? Or
Yeah,
tied?
yeah, they lead the
They
division.
did they
Yeah,
lead? Okay. So
because
yeah,
Chargers have 3 losses, Chiefs have
yeah. So
4.
Broncos lead the division now, which is important. Um, and that is another loss for the Texans, who are trying to make it to the seventh seed at this point. What did you make of that?
This is about what I expected. You have 2 football teams who one is the Houston Texans and one is the Denver Broncos. But to me, a lot of people are going to get mad at me. They are identical teams. I don't care what you say. They are identical football teams. The only difference is the Broncos have had a few games go their way, and the Texans have had a few games not go their way. But in terms of performance, they've pretty much performed the exact same. You're getting mediocre quarterback play. Let's be real, out of both CJ Stroud and Bo Nix. Both are young, up and coming quarterbacks who you hope are going to be great, but both right now are performing mediocre. Now, you could argue it's because of the offensive line for the Texans. You could argue it's for a lack of weapons for the Broncos, but I am not sold on either offense. Defensively, though, 2 elite defenses. And this game gave us exactly that, a low scoring affair with the Broncos dropping down at the end and getting a game winning field goal. The Broncos are a defensive team. I'm sick of hearing about Bo Nix. Bo Nix is not all that. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and say it. He's not a Drake May. He's not even a Jaden Daniels. I would take Caleb Williams over him. I'm sorry, but Bo Nix is just not cutting it for me. You know, the late game heroics against the Giants, the late game heroics are Jackson Dart throwing an interception. Those are the late game heroics we're talking about. So I'm still not sold on that offense. They are of all the 2 lost teams, I'm the least confident on the Denver Broncos.
I will say, in defense of Bo Nix in particular, his expectations coming out of college were much lower than all of the people he was drafted around. Penix and him specifically had lower expectations than May, Daniels, Williams, and McCarthy. Let's be real, they did. They were not expected to be as good as those four. So I think Nix being able to perform at least at the level he is right now is a good start. Obviously, we'd like to see him be better, but again, you got to remember, second year quarterback, still got time to develop. So all things considered, I think that he is doing a decent job. CJ Stroud, I saw, I see graphics all the time. I saw one that really interested me though. In the same draft class, Bryce Young, by the way, who was the number 1 pick. Stroud was the number 2. Everyone after the first 2 years even, was like, Stroud was the right choice. Stroud was the right choice for the Texans, right? Or for the Panthers even, I should say. But either way, hindsight, you look at the numbers. I don't know about you, but I would take a guy who has less interceptions and more touchdowns if I'm Bryce. If I'm looking between Bryce Young and C.J. Stroud, and Bryce Young wins in both those categories. It's interesting
Wow,
to me.
I love that.
Since their rookie years, Bryce Young has a better touchdown to interception ratio.
Since their rookie year, really?
But no, since after their rookie year.
Oh, okay, okay. I
So
was about to say,
so last
including the
year,
rookie year, I don't know.
last year and this year, Bryce Young has been better,
It's a pretty
arguably.
crazy
So
fact. It's yeah, Bryce Young's been good.
so
I think it's certainly more of a conversation now than it has been before, because of CJ Stroud's struggles, and people use. Here's the thing that I don't like about this argument is so many people will be like, "Oh, CJ Stroud doesn't have a good team around him. Look at his offensive line.
look at the
What does Bryce
Panthers.
Young
Look
have?
at the
He's on the
Panthers.
Carolina Panthers. Like they both don't have help. Okay, so they're pretty much equal. I would actually argue that Bryce Young has a worse football team around him than the Texans. At least CJ Stroud has an elite defense. The Carolina Panthers don't even have that. So to me, Bryce Young deserves a lot more credit than he's gotten so far.
Speaking of Bryce Young, the somehow, some way, Carolina Panthers walked into Lambeau
Woo! How
and
about that?
beat the Green Bay Packers, who were the 1 seed, by the way. Uh, I don't know how this happened. Uh, I don't think none of us saw this coming. No, nobody would have predicted the Panthers to win this game, but they did it. They take the W and they move themselves to, I think, above 500. Am I right?
Yes,
This is
5-4
incredible.
on the year.
Incredible.
Wow.
Carolina gets the job done. Does this say more about Carolina or Green Bay?
I got 2 words about this football game. Rico Dowdle. Rico Dowdle has been a baller this year. I don't know where he came from. We all thought that Chuba Hubbard was going to be the guy for the Panthers, but Rico Dowdle has come in and has certainly taken the RB1 role. So he put up a great game. The Panthers defense looked great. But I have you asked, does this say more about the Panthers or the Packers? I think there's more of a negative vibe that I get from this game when it comes to the Green Bay Packers, just because it was not a good game from Jordan Love. Did you see that fourth down pass in the red zone where now, to be fair to him, it is fourth down, so you kind of do have to throw something up, but still it looks
Oh,
ridiculous
the
where
one where Love
he
throws
rolls
it
out to his
and
left, throws it across his body to a defender who drops it, luckily. But it was kind of a disastrous game. It reminded me a lot of what we saw from in the Browns, where the Packers offense really kind of can't get anything going, and they end up losing at the end, with that game-winning field goal. So just a disaster from the Packers, and they are you've been a lot lower on them than I have. But now our opinions, I think, are starting to meet in the middle more because I just that game just looks awful.
it's just
I mean,
not a game you can lose. Like like
look,
the Browns game, I can understand it. It happens, a trap game. But like now, this is
they've had too many trap games. You can't play close against the Browns, the Cardinals, the Panthers. Now, I will say the Panthers, I think, are a really good football team. Not a maybe
they're a
not a
decent, they're an okay
maybe not a
team.
playoff team, but they're a fringe playoff team. They're pretty good. So I don't think this loss is a terrible loss. It's not one of the worst losses of the year, but it's certainly not a good one. I mean, you cannot, if you were the number one seed in the NFC and you want to be the number one seed, you cannot lose to a team right around 500. You can't do that.
Unexcusable. It's inexcusable. It's inexcusable. You can't even blame the defense here. They only allowed 16 points.
Yeah.
There's nothing
Packers
to.
defense is getting it done.
Yeah, I mean they've had a couple games. Obviously the Cowboys game, which is a great offense, but aside from that, and maybe the Cardinals game, their defense has been on point. So you got to look at that offense. I don't know. I've this year more than ever, I've had more questions about Jordan Love than I ever had. So just worth mentioning. Thought maybe conversations should begin to have if they falter further and further.
Yeah,
But
it's interesting because we always talk about the three iconic Green Bay quarterbacks of Love, Rodgers, Favre. To
I don't know if
me,
I say
Jordan
Love is
Love,
iconic, but
but you know what I mean. Like,
yeah,
okay, how about this? Three highly talented players. Jordan
yes.
Love has yet to become an iconic figure, but the talent is there. Jordan Love, I compare a lot to Brett Favre in the way that he's kind of sloppy with the football. Jordan Love has a rocket, but he's very turnover worthy. Sometimes he doesn't see the field right. Sometimes he takes risks, unnecessary risks, and it doesn't pay off. So Jordan Love, very similar to Brett Favre in that way. It's interesting.
We'll have to see it over time if the Packers can keep up their pace of trying to fight for the one seed. Um, a team that actually no, no. I was gonna go to the one seed argument in a moment, but I'll wait for that game for a second.
Ooh,
Uh,
interesting.
Jaguars played the Raiders. Let's just get this game out of the way. Jaguars win 30-29. Dude, what happened to Jacksonville, man? What has happened? This team went from beating San Francisco and beating Kansas City, looking like, oh my goodness, they're gonna fight for the division. Wow, how have they fallen?
Yeah, not a great sign. They did pull off a win, so good for them. Travis Hunter's on IR, I believe a season-ending injury, so that's kind of a disaster.
Close to it,
It's
yeah.
just it's not looking good for the Jags, but they did pull off a win. It came down to the last play, and the Raiders ballsy. Hey, you got to give them credit, going for two at the end. I think it's a good call, but it did get batted down at the line of scrimmage, so unfortunate there. The Raiders. Just cannot seem to get it going. Even when they play a decent game, it still doesn't work in the end. So Geno Smith wasn't awful. I will say that he was not awful, but they didn't end up winning it. Jacksonville, they keep their hopes alive. They're still in the playoffs right now. They have passed the Kansas City Chiefs because they took a loss, and so Jags 6-3. As rough as the last few weeks have looked, they're still getting it done. So not maybe they didn't get it done against the Rams, obviously, but they're still in playoff contention. So
Still right there.
sorry, that was not intentional. That was not intentional. I promise you. But I'm not saying that they're gonna choke. But they're still keeping their hopes alive. They're still staying afloat.
Yeah, I mean Jacksonville does kind of what they needed to do, even if it was sloppy. They take the win, beat a team that they should beat. Raiders fall to another loss. I mean they're gonna blow it up in the offseason anyway. So We kind of know where they're going with the Raiders. Um, you know, you mentioned the Chiefs and how they took a loss this weekend. They lost to the Bills. Man, we know the result, right? We know where this leads. When we get to the playoffs, we're going to have Chiefs versus Buffalo. It's going to be another one of their classic playoff games. And you know what's exactly going to happen? The same thing we
Oh,
get
yeah.
every year, every year. You know why I say this? Because Buffalo, once again, takes the win in the regular season. They win 28-21 this time. Um, I don't know, man. Look, I want to believe, I want to be happy about this, right? This is the one time I think that a Bills win makes me upset. because
Upset. Wow.
upset because what is it? 5 years now they've beaten the Chiefs in the regular season or something.
5 in a row.
Yeah. So and we've had the same result in the playoffs. And I don't know, guys, as somebody who wants to see the Chiefs fall off the mountain on the AFC, the Bills are your best bet right now. To be honest with you, like you could say what you want about overall teams. Maybe there are better overall teams, but the Josh Allen is the closest person to Patrick Mahomes right now. So um, I don't know
No,
that the
yeah,
just
100%.
so.
Um,
But yeah, Bills overall. Let's talk about this game more. Bills take the win. Chiefs fall to 5-4.
yeah, I mean, and the score is a little deceiving. This game could have been a blowout if the Bills were able to kind of close the deal, but you can't. It's hard to close the deal against the Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. You know, they're always going to get themselves back in the game. Um, and so it's there's not much. I feel like there's not much to say about this game because I don't think the Chiefs put in their 100%. In the previous regular season games, they never really have. They just kind of go in the game, they figure out what they're gonna, what the Bills are gonna run, what they're gonna run, and it's almost like a practice game for the playoffs. And the Bills always have their number in the regular season, and then the Chiefs always have their number in the playoffs. So to me, it's just a wild scenario. And but this Chiefs fans are trying to backpedal and say, "Oh, we'll be fine in the playoffs." I think you really want home field advantage. Having a playoff game in Arrowhead versus having one in Buffalo is a huge difference. I Obviously Mahomes is still going to be in a great position no matter where he plays, but you'd much rather be in Arrowhead. So the fight, they're really losing out on this fight for the 1 seed. They're now 2 games behind Buffalo, whereas if they beat Buffalo, they'd have the same record as them and have the tiebreaker as well. So it's not a great loss for the Chiefs, but you have to imagine they're going to be back in the playoffs.
Also, assuming that Baltimore gets into the playoffs, this is not a team that you want to be playing in Baltimore either. I promise you,
Yeah,
that's not where you want
absolutely.
to play. But let's look at. Oh, actually, no. You know what? We will talk about that game, but it's not going to just be any regular topic of discussion. It's just going to be a little bit of what do you want to say? BTA.
Oh my gosh. A BTA, does it involve like a really good football team like the
It,
LA Rams? Does it involve the MVP candidate, the top MVP candidate, the Matthew Stafford? Is that what this involves?
it does. You know what else BTA involves this week? It involves another MVP candidate who plays in Washington. It involves a another team that is trying to win their division, and they play in
I like it.
Seattle. So, but I'll go first here. I'll take the reins first. L.A. Rams destroy the New Orleans Saints this past Sunday. They won 34-10. Um, I don't have actually much to say about the Saints as a team because you know what? Listen, if you're a Saints fan, you've already given up hope. You stepped on the field for preseason and said, "Let's get ready for 2026." There was no discussion about doing anything this season. So, I want to give you guys the belt, but I'm not going to give you the belt. Most of the Saints players. However, you know who's getting the belt this week?
Oh my gosh.
You
Oh
want to know, you
no.
want to know who's getting the belt this week?
Who?
The belt is going to Derek Carr, and you're like, why? Why Derek Carr? He doesn't play for the Saints anymore.
What?
Because
Bro is sitting on
why?
his
Why would
couch.
you retire? Why? What was the point? You left high and dry. You waited all the way until we get to basically the start of the season, and you left them in this position. What are they supposed to do? This is not on the Saints coaching. This is not on the front office. This is not on the players. This is on Derek Carr for leaving your team high and dry right before the season starts and being like, "Oh, I don't want to play anymore." That's fine. Nobody's judging you for not wanting to play anymore. We're judging you because why would you wait all the way until the season's about to start? They have no backup plan. Not that you guys would have been competitive anyway, but at least you could have given your team more warning. Anyway, the Rams get the job done. Matt Stafford is my MVP second place right now if I had to pick. So he's right there in this discussion. Rams look really good. I think they are in contention for the 1 seed. They're not in it currently, but they are in contention for it. So another big win for the Rams.
Who would be your number one candidate?
Go ahead, he's in this game.
I like it. Look, Seattle Seahawks legends. Legends such as Cam Chancellor, Russell Wilson, Steve Largent, Sean Alexander, Earl Thomas. The list goes on. What if I told you that there's a Seahawks legends in the making? And I'm not talking just any Seahawks legends. I'm talking about the best wide receiver in the NFL. I'm talking about none other than the guy who's going to break Megatron, Calvin Johnson's record. None other than my boy, Jackson Smith in Jigba. Look, you cannot stop this man. Daron Payne, what was that you said? Can we go back to what Daron Payne said this week? He said, who's Jackson Smith and Jigba? Who is Jackson Smith and Jigba?
Who's
He's the
Daron
man who
Payne?
handed you a BTA. Don't talk down on the best receiver in football, Jackson Smith and Jigba. And look, you set me up perfectly for this segment as well, because not only do they have a legendary receiver, not only do they have a legendary defense, one that could rival the Legion of Boom for the best defense in Seahawks
That's
history, they have the MVP, Sam Darnold. It doesn't matter what you throw at him. He is getting it done. Cooper Kupp's out of the game? Doesn't matter. Cody White's in the game? He's still going to throw touchdowns to him. Elijah Aurora, is he going to get his first touchdown? If Sam Darnold's throwing the ball, you better believe he will. Don't count out the Seattle Seahawks, because they are building a Super Bowl team. And you know why? You know what the main callus for it is? The best receiver in football, Jackson Smith in Jigba.
Sam Darnold is my front runner for MVP.
I love you for that. Thank you so much. You set me up perfectly for that. I'm so glad, because I would have sounded crazy if I'm the only one that says that. But I have another one to back me up too. Thank you.
Sam Darnold's in that discussion. You know who's not in that discussion anymore is Dak Prescott.
Oh, yeah.
Another loss to have their season go awry. Cowboys take the L to the Cardinals 27-17. This game was worse than that score shows. I don't have much to say on this game. I don't know. Jacoby Brissett played good. Dak Prescott did not. The Cowboys in total did not. The Cardinals in total did. It's just the game that we got. I mean, Cardinals in a must-win game, literally must-win game, won the game, so they keep their season alive. Dallas falls to another loss, which they really couldn't afford.
Yeah, it was just an awful game. I could not watch this football game, by the way. It was completely blacked out on YouTube TV. Some copyright not copyright dispute, some contract dispute. YouTube TV could not. Only ESPN and ABC. They're the only two stations in the world who could broadcast this game. So I was not able to watch it live. But you know what? Watching through the highlights, I can just say this Cowboys defense is atrocious.
They're bad.
Look, but I do have one thing to say about the Cardinals. I do have one thing to say. There is one way that the Arizona Cardinals make the playoffs this year. They have to make one huge roster decision, and it's the toughest decision they've made in years, but they're going to have to do it. I'm sorry, but they're going to have to bench Kyler Murray and give the keys to the car to Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett has just come in and has given this team life again. They almost beat the Packers. They did beat the Cowboys. You have to give Jacoby Brissett a chance and see what happens. If he gets a few weeks and he fails as well, then you can give it, you have Kyler be the starter again. But the bottom line is Jacoby Brissett has come in and has given the Cardinals the most life they've had in almost a full calendar year. So I'm sorry, but they need to give Jacoby Brissett a chance here to see if he can get them back in playoff contention.
I just want to preface that by saying Kyler Murray has been shafted to the side because ever since he stepped foot in Arizona, everybody was not high on him after his first year, and everyone gave up immediately on him. I just want to preface this. He even in his season where he was going an undefeated season and they were 7-0 or whatever in 2021, everyone was doubting Kyler. They were saying Kyler was going to be the problem. What was the problem that season? Do you remember? I
I mean,
remember. Do you?
the defense was pretty atrocious, but
The defense was bad. The
and they had
receivers,
injuries.
AJ Green dropped a pass. DeAndre Hopkins got hurt. But then who got the blame for that season? Kyler Murray. Who got the blame for last season? Even though the team itself collapsed around him.
It still
Kyler
was
Murray.
Merrey, but you know,
He got the blame.
does
Who gets the blame every time something happens in Arizona? No matter what it is. It's Kyler
it is
Murray.
Kyler Murray.
So I don't know. I think we're holding him to a little higher of a standard than people want to give it value for, but that's my opinion.
You know who I believe deserves to be the one that's bashed in these scenarios? Kyler Murray. In my opinion, the biggest issue with Kyler Murray is not a talent. I think Kyler Murray's talent is without a doubt one of the best in the NFL. He has the talent to be playing at an elite level. I have no doubt about it. It's why he was a first round pick. It's why he was such a highly talented prospect. But the leadership issues are absolutely there. While the team tries, I'm not actually. I was gonna make a Call of Duty reference, but that feels so disrespectful, so I'm not gonna do it. But when the team tries to get it together, I don't see Kyler Murray on the sidelines or in the locker room hyping these guys up and getting them ready to play these games. And when they're down big, I don't see the energy and the passion out of Kyler Murray. I just don't. I don't feel like the leadership. I feel like the leadership qualities are lacking for him, and that is the issue that the Cardinals have been having.
You could also chalk it up to the fact that the Cardinals have seemingly been trying to find. They paid him, but ever since they paid him, they seemingly have put every reason for them to not believe in him. It seems like they're like when they paid him, they put clauses in his contract about what he does in his free time. Like, are we? This is a grown man we're talking about, by the way. Grown man. I don't know. I don't like the way that the Cardinals treat him, which I think reflects back on how he treats the team. Which now that's not a mature thing to do. Trust me, I'm aware, but that you have to look at the other side of the coin. There are other factors which are pointing him in one direction versus another. The Cardinals have not given him pieces. The Cardinals have not given him support. They have in fact tried to change him instead of let him try and be him and then lead the team. So I don't think you can function like that. When you have even in the Steelers have always had big personalities on their teams, right? Think back to AB, you think back to Le'Veon Bell. They didn't stop them from being them. You know what they did? They just told them to temper themselves, which they did. They did. But which happened? Those teams were successful. AFC championships, division wins, constantly. That's my thought. I'm not saying Kyler Murray's as good as Antonio Brown at his position. It's not my argument, but you gotta have a little bit of push of give and take here. I think if you're somebody who watches the Cardinals kind of closely, but I don't know. We gotta get a little further here along. So let's look at Week 10. All right. By the way, just for note, Jacoby Brissett is in this week. Kyler, I don't know if he's hurt or still or not, but Jacoby is starting. Worth noting.
Oh man,
Um,
that's gonna make my pick a little tougher this week. If Kyler was in, I'd have an easier pick, but I don't know now.
so let's see what we think for Week 10. You know what? I'm gonna go first, and I will try and spitball this as quick as I can. So on Thursday Night Football, we have the Raiders playing the Broncos in Denver. Give me the Broncos. I don't see a reason that the Raiders would win this game. Give me the Falcons. No. Give me the Colts over the Falcons. I was gonna say I was trying to set up the Falcons versus the Colts. Give me the Colts to win this game. The Colts win in Indianapolis.
Okay.
Sorry, I just started over my words right there. Colts beat the Falcons. Jets play the Browns off a bye week at home. They're going to get torched by the Browns. Give me the Browns in this game. I think their defense is going to destroy Justin Fields or Tyrod, whoever's back there. Saints play the Panthers in Carolina. Give me the Panthers. They're on a roll right now. The Patriots play the Buccaneers in Tampa. This is a game that I just think that the Patriots are destined to lose. I don't think they're going to go offense for offense with Tampa. So give me the Buccaneers. Ravens play the Vikings in a game. Ravens consistently, they now have to win, and I think they'll do so here. I think the Vikings, they are a very 50-50 team. They're coming off a good game. They'll probably have a bad one this week, so give me the Ravens. Bills play the Dolphins. I would be shocked if the Dolphins won this game, so give me Buffalo. The Giants played the Bears. I think this will actually be a really fun game, a close game too. But give me the Bears in this game; they're the better team. Jaguars play the Texans in Houston. I'm going to take the Houston Texans. I think they're playing better football. I think their defense can stop Jacksonville, and I think Texans will have a better chance trying to get to the 7 seed. Cardinals play the Seahawks this week in Seattle. I don't care who's starting at quarterback. Give me the Cardinals this week. I think in Seattle is going to be I think it's going to be a good game from the Cardinals offense more than it is a Seahawks problem. I think it'll be a mix of that. Um, but excuse me. Lions play Commanders in Washington. Washington won't have Daniels. He's obviously hurt, out for the year. Um, they also have many injuries. Luke McCaffrey's out for the year. There's so many injuries on Washington that we didn't really get to touch on, but um, give me the Lions in this game. They can't afford to lose this game. The Rams play the 49ers in San Francisco. I think they'll split the series, so give me the Rams. Pittsburgh plays the Chargers. I believe that is Sunday Night Football. It is.
It is.
So give me the. Hmm. Okay, this is actually a tough one here. This is maybe the game of the week, even, I'd say. More than Monday Night Football, I know, which is crazy.
It's a really good matchup.
Give me the Steelers. I was gonna go Chargers. I was thinking Chargers all day, but I'm gonna go Steelers. So because I think missing Joe All is gonna be a big key for the Chargers' loss here. And then Eagles play the Packers in Lambeau on Monday night. I just don't see a world where the Packers lose to the Eagles today. On Monday. I was thinking all day. Another one I just changed on the fly here. I was thinking it'd be a Packers win, but the more I think about it, the more I think I'm gonna take the Eagles here.
All right. Yeah. Good picks for the most part. For the most part. So I'm gonna clap my hands, and then you're gonna close your eyes for 5 seconds. Okay? Can you do that?
Okay.
All right.
Can I?
All
Can
right. You
I?
can open them. All right. Here we go. Let's
What
do
did you
our
just
Week
do?
10 NFL predictions. I turned the lights on.
Oh, I see.
Using
I see in the background.
I have a system where if I clap, the lights
Yeah,
turn
no,
on.
so that's not what happens. But go ahead.
I promise you. Okay. Anyway, you had your eyes closed. How would you know?
Go ahead. Go your
All right, here
picks.
we go. All right, week 10 predictions. Thursday night football between the Raiders and Broncos. Give me Denver in this one. I like them in this matchup. Colts Falcons. I like the Colts to rebound. Bears Giants. Give me Chicago. Bills Dolphins. Give me the Bills. Ravens Vikings. I like the Ravens to keep their hot streak going. Browns Jets. Give me the Browns. Patriots Bucks. I think this is going to be a fantastic game. Baker versus Drake May. Give me the New England Patriots. They are riding a wave of
Wow.
momentum. They're healthier than the Buccaneers. I like the Patriots in this one. On the road, by the way. Saints and Panthers. I like the Panthers to keep it going, keep their winning record up, or at least extend it. Jacksonville and Texans. Again, I like you. I do think the Texans are playing some pretty good football right now, and I think they do win this game. With how good their defense is playing, they're due for like a good win. Then Seahawks and Cardinals. Jacoby Brissett is playing, so it could be a close one, but I don't think it will be. I think the Seahawks are going to take care of business. I feel really good about them as a team. Rams 49ers. I think the Rams are going to split this series. I think the 49ers got a little lucky with their first matchup this year, so I think the Rams are going to win this one. Lions and Commanders. Give me the Lions. No Jaden Daniels for the Commanders, which is not good. Steelers Chargers. I agree with you. I do see the Steelers winning this. I think TJ Watt is going to have a field day with their exterior offensive line. You know, with Rashawn Slater and Joel outs, the Steelers need a good defensive game, and I think they're going to get it. And then on Monday Night Football, an absolute banger matchup between the Eagles and the Packers. Packers need a good game, but I don't think they're going to get it. I think the Eagles are going to go into Lambeau and pick up a huge statement win by winning that game.
Solidify themselves as the 1 seed like they already have right now. So we agree on all but 2 games there. So very agreeable week, I'd say. So,
Mm-hmm.
uh, but that'll do it for our NFL side of things here. I fear we have to move over to the college side here, and I say I fear for a reason. There's something about college football that I need to get off my chest. I'm not a fan of the fact that we have to have a funeral this week. So you know what? You know, before we do anything else, we're gonna cut the screen to black in a moment here. We're gonna say a moment of prayer. We're gonna say our rest in peace to Georgia Tech season. So let's put our hands together and let's say a moment of peace. Oh man, emotional. hate to see that for
Are we recording again?
yeah.
Gosh, all right. Let's get it together.
So Georgia Tech.
Oh,
Sorry, still feeling the after effects. Um, they unfortunately most
it was a
likely
good
yeah ended their
it was a
undefeated
good run,
season
Georgia Tech.
unless they
They'll be
beat
back
Georgia.
next year.
Unless they beat Georgia.
Look,
If they beat Georgia, maybe.
yes, the playoffs could absolutely still be alive for them, but I don't know. It's not looking. A loss is not great,
Not
especially not a
doesn't
loss like that.
doesn't help. But let's look at the rest of what happened. Of course, they lost to NC State. Makes me disgusted to say
I know.
they
I
lost to
know.
that team. They're gonna be blurred out from now on. After I said that sentence, so from now on, they're not even gonna be relevant to
Oh
us.
my gosh.
Uh, but let's look at the rest of the games that we saw happen this week. Um, Memphis, they were ranked, or are ranked, were ranked. They take care of Rice, 38 to 14. Texas beat Vandy. We both said it would happen. It did happen. Texas took care of business. They beat Vanderbilt 34-31. Close game. Ohio State took care of Penn State. I'm surprised Penn State scored 14 points. So
Wow.
incredible feat there. Ohio
That's weird.
State.
That was supposed to be like the matchup of the week. Two amazing Big Ten
All right,
teams,
man. All right.
and
Like we're dragging
oh,
it.
that's
We're
right. Penn State's
dragging it.
awful. I forgot. Sorry about that.
Yeah, we're dragging it. We're dragging it. I
uh,
wonder what happened to Oklahoma State.
yo, that's crazy. That's crazy.
I also wonder what
I
happened to
emailed me on that.
Miami. They lost to SMU this week. Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Carson Beck,
Oof.
man.
They're kind of Miami's kind of falling apart
We
now.
both. I know I was. I think we both were skeptical of this team.
Oh yeah,
Um,
definitely, absolutely.
they're showing it here. SMU takes the W. Louisville beat Virginia Tech. We kind of both thought that would happen. Uh, Georgia beat Florida, and again in a close game where Georgia ekes it out. I
Look,
told everybody it happened. Just
Georgia is the most entertaining team in maybe all of football right now. You want to watch a good game? Doesn't matter who they're playing. They could be playing Kent State or Alabama. Doesn't matter. It's going to be a banger of a football game. So the Georgia Bulldogs are delivering just must-see TV week after week.
for whatever reason, they win almost all of these games. So
Yeah, they always win. They're the look. I actually do have something I want to say real quickly. I do feel a little hypocritical about my opinion on the Georgia Bulldogs because most of the time when I look at teams that win a lot of one-score games, my opinion on them is, oh, they suck, they're frauds. But with the Georgia Bulldogs, it's different. I believe that they are still a great football team, and it's because they have a winning pedigree. They've won national championships in recent years. I believe that if you were a team that has already built a winning culture and you know how to win, I think you
like
can
the
get away with
Chiefs.
that
So like
stuff.
the Chiefs last
Like the
year.
Chiefs, yes. Whereas a team like I was talking about the Broncos or the Commanders, teams that have not yet established a winning record, or not a winning record, but a winning culture, I'm more skeptical on teams like that
Or Ole
because
Miss
of
college.
yeah, yeah. So yeah, exactly. So that's an opinion on that because I know a lot of people are probably feel like I'm being a little hypocritical about that, but I think there's a
Hypocrite.
difference when you talk about winning.
Hypocrite.
Yeah, look, it is
Hypocrite.
kind of hypocritical, but I think there's a reason for it.
So whatever. I almost spoke it into existence, but the fact Boston College played Notre Dame 25-10 is impressive.
This was a one-score game in the fourth quarter. This I
Game.
cannot believe like it looked and they had the ball. Boston College was down just a touchdown and had the football. It was actually kind of concerning for a little bit, but of course Notre Dame ended up winning as they should for a top
Wow, I
25.
can't believe I almost spoke that into existence. That would have been
Yeah.
a crazy thing.
Wow.
Indiana took care of Maryland 55-10. Texas Tech beat Kansas State 43-20. Virginia beats Cal 31-21. Bunch of games we predicted there. Ole Miss beats South Carolina 30-14. Michigan beat Purdue 21-16. Again, normal things here. Sorry, I just had the remnants of our funeral just pass by
Oh
me.
my gosh, that looks so bad.
Uh,
I can't even.
Nasty. Just makes me want to vomit.
They're still ranked 16th. It's
Mm.
not the end of the world, but
Hope. USC beat Nebraska 21-17. I had Nebraska winning. They actually almost did it. So that wasn't that bad of a pick in hindsight. Oklahoma, I did have winning this game against Tennessee. I remember I flipped a spoon for it
Yeah,
Spoon was right.
the spoon
so
was right.
maybe I have to revert to the spoon again. But Oklahoma takes a W over Tennessee, an important win for them.
Absolutely.
And then lastly, Utah beat Cincinnati. They beat the brakes off of them. So Utah back into the top 20. Cincinnati's still ranked, but at what cost? So speaking of ranked teams, let's look at the rankings real quickly here. You stop me if there is something that sticks out to you. I'll go kind of slow. Ohio State's number 1. Indiana at 2. Texas A&M is at 3. They're off a bye. Alabama's at 4. I think they're also off a bye. Georgia at 5. Oregon at 6. I think they're off a bye. Ole Miss at 7. BYU at 8. They're off a bye. Texas Tech's at 9. Notre Dame's 10, which I'm sorry. How can they play 15 points from Boston College and be a top 10?
Yeah, that's too high. But
Egregious. Oklahoma 11. Virginia at 12. Texas is 13. Louisville 14. Vanderbilt 15. Georgia Tech 16.
let me stop you here. Georgia Tech should be ahead of Vandy
Georgia,
and Virginia.
I would say Georgia Tech should be ahead of Virginia, and I could argue Louisville as well.
They should be ahead of Vanderbilt too, I think.
They should probably still be about 12th or 13th, whatever.
Yeah. Anyway,
Utah 17, Miami 18, Missouri 19, USC 20, Michigan, Memphis, Tennessee, Washington, who's ranked now, and Cincinnati round out your top 25. Nothing too crazy in the back end.
How about Washington? Wow.
Good for them. The only other thing that we didn't just say right there that I wanted to say, I think it's a little interesting to have BYU at 8, but they're undefeated.
I like it.
They're
like
undefeated.
They've been good this year.
They're undefeated. I'll let it happen. We'll see. I mean, time will tell. They have a couple of tough games coming up. So, speaking of tough games, let's look at this. 5 weeks. We're 5 weeks from the playoffs, Parker.
We're getting there.
From championship games, all that stuff. So, we're getting close. Let's look ahead to this week's games, though, for week 11 of college. Northwestern's headed to USC to win this game. We're both taking USC, right? Surely Northwestern won't beat Penn State and USC in the same year.
USC's winning this football game.
Tulane plays Memphis. Give me Tulane. I'm gonna take Tulane to win this game.
Wow. I'm going Memphis, but okay.
I'm gonna do Tulane. I don't think this game will matter in retrospect to the playoffs, but give me Tulane. Ooh, you want to talk about teams that play everybody close? Georgia and Mississippi State play this week.
Wow.
Dude, we could see like a 45-42 game out of this. I'm so serious.
We could.
Give me Georgia, though. They're not losing to Mississippi State, right?
Yeah. No.
Okay.
Georgia's playing. It'll be a close one, but Georgia's playing.
This game matters a lot for both teams. BYU heads to Texas Tech. Both are ranked right around each other. The winner of this game will probably solidify a playoff spot, more than likely. So, who do you got?
I believe in BYU. I truly do. I see them going into Texas Tech and winning this football game. A lot of people don't believe in them. A lot of people think they're kind of fraudulent. I don't think so. I think they're a great football team, and I think they win this game.
I hate to be the bearer of good news for you, but I actually agree. I think BYU is better.
Hey, I thought for sure you would go 10.
No, I actually agree. I think BYU is the better team. I think it'll be a close game. I don't think this is going to be some walk in the park for them, but I think this will be a close 3-point game. But give me BYU to take the W and solidify themselves as a likely playoff team. Indiana's playing Penn State this week.
What a game!
In Penn State.
This could decide who wins the Big Ten. In all honesty, okay.
Penn
State's 3-5. Oh, never mind. Okay, I'm sorry. This is going to be a blowout. Indiana's going to take care of Penn State. Sorry.
To be fair, this could determine who actually gets the Big Ten in a way. Because in a way,
yeah.
Because if Indiana completely destroys Penn State better than Ohio State, then we have a discussion to have. They played them in back-to-back weeks, so we'll see. But Indiana's going to take the W here. I'm sorry. Do you see that?
What do I see?
Do you see who's playing Ole Miss this week?
The Citadel.
Citadel's
The
playing Ole Miss.
Citadel.
They're playing Ole Miss.
Okay.
You know, give me
Ole
Citadel.
Miss
No,
is
I'm kidding.
not losing this
Yeah, give me
football
Ole
game.
Miss. Give me Ole Miss.
Like, gosh.
Wow.
If they lose, we got issues.
The SEC's got issues.
How much did they pay the Citadel to play this game?
I
Like
have no
$20
idea.
million?
They must have paid him a
Oh
lot of
my
money. Whatever money they
gosh.
got paid, I want. Yeah, give me that. Yeah,
Yes.
seriously, give me that.
Good deal for the Citadel, honestly.
Uh, Win for them. Ohio State's playing Purdue. Ohio State will take care of business. Um, Syracuse plays Miami. I actually think this will be a good game. I think Syracuse could upset Miami, but give me Miami. I don't. They can't afford another loss.
Yeah,
So
I agree.
in Miami, give me them. A&M plays Missouri. Okay, another ranked A&M game. Surely this will be the week they fail, right? I'm
I
not
think they're
doing
going to
it.
keep riding
I'm
this
not doing
wave.
it. No, give
I
me
think they're going to
A&M.
beat Missouri, honestly.
Give me A&M.
Missouri
In
has some injury concerns right now.
Yeah,
Quarterback's still out, so I like A&M.
give me A&M. Oregon plays Iowa. This will probably be a close game. They always play each other close. Um, but give me Oregon, of course. This is not a game that
Yeah,
I think
Oregon's
Iowa
winning.
surprises anybody. Auburn could again upset alert. They could beat Vandy, but I don't think they will. Give me Vanderbilt to beat Auburn this week and try and keep their playoff hopes alive.
I got Auburn winning.
Really, you think they're
Look,
finally going to do it? They're finally
look
going to win?
in college football, when it rains, it pours. And when you take a loss like Vanderbilt did, I think they're in a really bad spot for this upcoming week. I think they're going to lose against Auburn, who I think is a good football team. They just lost a bunch of close games. So yeah, I do finally see Auburn breaking through and getting a win against an SEC school.
We'll see. I'm going to stick with Vanderbilt though. I think they're a decent team. Um, Washington plays Wisconsin. This game, in all retrospect, doesn't matter to the playoffs literally whatsoever. But you know what? Let's give Washington some love. I'm gonna give a Washington win this week.
I
Claps for them
agree.
for being ranked. So give Washington their win this week. Wake Forest goes to Virginia to play them. Virginia, if you lose to Wake Forest of all teams, please don't do that. Please don't do that. Virginia will take the W at home.
Yep,
Um,
I agree.
Cal goes to play Louisville in Louisville. Give me Louisville.
Yep, agree.
Uh, Navy's playing Notre Dame. It would be really funny. It would be really funny. It won't happen, but it would be funny. Give me Notre Dame.
It would be very patriotic, but I don't see it happening. Notre Dame's winning this game.
Yeah, is this being played technically on Veterans Weekend? I think it is.
I think so.
So
That's pretty cool.
that would be a good game for Navy to win.
That would be an awesome win. I hope they do
Maybe
it.
does that make me change my pick?
Are you
Think
getting
about that.
emotional with your
Think
picks,
think think
Mekhi?
about that. Think about that.
Let's not get emotional with our
Think about
picks
this.
now.
Think about this. Navy on Veterans Weekend playing Notre Dame, the Fighting Irish, if you will. Not give me Notre Dame. Give me Notre Dame.
Yeah, no.
I think it'll be actually be
reeling them
close. It'll
in.
be close. It'll be close. It'll be
Throw
close.
that.
But give me
I
Notre Dame.
don't think it'll be close, but it could be.
Well,
Could be.
close for Notre Dame, you gotta remember, is like a really big margin. They play
Yeah.
they can win by 3 scores, but they'll play within 1 score. So, last important game, I guess, quote unquote, this week we have Alabama playing at home versus LSU. Yeah, I mean they don't even have Brian Kelly anymore. This team's not LSU's not upsetting anybody.
Yeah.
Alabama also owns LSU, so give me
Yeah.
Alabama.
This is a
Tide gets it
Bama
done.
win
Yeah,
for sure.
Crimson Tide gets it done. Not a lot of upsets I can predict this week. Sorry, I stopped for a second because I looked because obviously I'm scrolling on my phone here. I scroll through the upcoming games and I see Week 12. And guys, I'm sorry, it just Clemson showing up on my phone gives me a little bit of a chuckle considering where we started the season.
Clemson's
So
back.
they're not obviously ranked. They're playing somebody
The
who's
Penn
currently ranked.
State of the ACC.
They're worse. They're honestly worse because they had even high. People were like, "Oh, Penn State's overrated." Clemson, everyone had high expectations for, and they just missed.
Hey, they still got their coach though.
That says almost nothing, to be honest. That says almost nothing. But yeah. So those are our predictions this week. Before we send everyone home here, do you have any hot takes, final opinions before we close it out?
I think the best way to close out this episode is with another moment of silence for Georgia Tech. I mean, it seems only
You know
fitting.
what? But this is gonna be our send off here. We're not even gonna do any other words. We're gonna send them
No,
off here with this prayer. So
thank you
thank
guys.
you guys for watching and prayers for Georgia Tech.